Hey folks, Quilly18 here, and welcome to the second part of our Let's Try of Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. It is finally here, or will be here, not long after this video goes up on the internets, but the new version of the biggest, best-selling flight simulator of all time. This is a very simple, short little flight that I'm doing from Manitoulin Airport over to Sudbury Airport, basically showing you guys where I grew up, my hometown over here. And I did say that I would set my recording to 60 FPS for this second video. I tried it, and I was actually overloading my encoder. I've got to go and tune some more settings. I record and play on the same computer, which is normally fine, but might not be over here. So I'm going to have to make a few adjustments to make it work properly, and my apologies for the fact that this is not 30 or 60 FPS. So there might still be some virtual jerkiness. Yeah, I can see on my preview window when I do this, it doesn't look terribly smooth, which is a shame because the game is really smooth. So the problem is I play too many strategy games, and my entire setup is really optimized for things that effectively move quite slowly and honestly don't have a lot of fine details. So I'm hoping that things aren't too smeared or pixelated as we go. Anyway, this is Sudbury, you guys. This is my hometown, Sudbury, Ontario. And some areas look kind of like crap. Like if we look over here, we can see, look at this rust-colored stuff over here. So Sudbury's a big mining town. It is actually known as the nickel capital of the world. It's actually in a crater. Now, for a long time, and actually I don't want to dive here. I've got airframe stresses and engine stresses turned off, so we can overspeed this plane without having to worry about it collapse. But I want to get down a little bit lower here to talk about things. But yeah, Sudbury's in a crater, and for a long time we thought it was a nickel-rich meteorite that landed over here. It turns out it feels more like it's actually a comet. So it wasn't a nickel-rich meteorite that landed here, but instead a comet that landed here millions and millions of years ago and blew off a bunch of the top of the sort of, I don't know, the crust, the mantle, I don't know. I'm not a geologist. I don't know what part of the ground that got blown away and basically exposed a lot of the minerals down below, which is why it's such a great mining town as is. But then you get areas where it's just like you can see the remnants, the pollution of the mining. And the thing is, this is a darn sight better than it would have looked even 20 years ago, but especially 30 years ago, where everything you would see here would be exposed bare rock and black rock. The rock itself is not black. Anything where the soil has been eroded away to expose more of the rock, it's not black. It's just normal, I don't know, whatever color this particular mineral is. It's brownish. But black, stained black from massive acid rain from the mining operations. And everything was barren because every single tree had been cut down to use in these giant open-air roasters to roast all the ore that was extracted from the ground to then extract mostly nickel, some copper, and then a few other, like some rare metals as well, you know, gold, platinum, that sort of thing. But really nickel. This whole place was horrific. There's a joke that the NASA astronauts in the 60s came here to train before going to the moon. And that is true. Now, they didn't come here to train because the rocky surface was so close to the lunar surface. In fact, it's not. The lunar surface is fairly sort of sandy, right? Loose soil kind of thing. But because this was the site of a comet collision, although again at the time I think they thought it was more meteorite, it still showcased a lot of really interesting things because it's in a crater, right? And this was to train the astronauts to be able to identify certain types of rock formations, including various types of like craters and meteorite strikes on the moon. So they did come here to train, but it's not quite as bad as it originally made it out to sound. Now, I did a little loopy-loop over here. Look at the golf course over here. Again, there's no way this town was handcrafted. This is all generated from satellite imagery using AI to process the satellite imagery to figure out where each building should be. And it is amazing to me how accurate most of these building placements are. This is a giant hospital over here. This is Health Sciences North, big giant hospital. And right next to it, this is Science North. Now, what's interesting about Science North, and if you look it up, I suggest, I was going to say Google Maps. Maybe you should use Bing because it's a Microsoft product, but, you know, whichever. If you go and look up Science North, the buildings at Science North are snowflake buildings. Now, they don't look quite like this. They're much more glassy and things. But this is the AI's best attempt to figure out what the buildings should sort of look like in a game. And it actually did a shockingly good job, because it is a bizarre building. If you don't have custom geometry, if you don't have a custom model for this building, there's no way it's ever going to look right. I have to recover from my flight here a little bit. So give me a second. I have airframe stress turned off, but I don't have ground collision turned off. So let's go ahead and see if we can recover here. How come I feel like I don't have any go juice? My engine's on, right? Oh shit. Pause. Why? Am I out of gas? Oh. Okay, so I went and had dinner. Between the episodes, I went and had dinner. No, that's still in there. Let me do this first of all. Yeah, pressure's down. Did I kill my engine in that maneuver? I think I might have, you guys. Uh-oh. I went and had dinner in between the first part and this. And I'm not gonna lie, I may have had a beer with dinner as well, so that's not gonna help. But I'm wondering, being paused all that time with the live pause, it's either that or the crazy descent that I did. Something broke. Something's a little weird. And I'm not entirely convinced the engine is running right now, but I'm not sure that I've got the distance to save this. Because I can, like, run the starter. Oh, I can hear the engine starting up again. Because this live pause is kind of weird. Does it have a fuel pump in here? We've got the primer and everything like that. I think my engine is on again. I think I might have, like, stalled the engine. I don't know if we can recover it, but we're gonna try. Anyway. Let's pop back outside. There you go. Speed is climbing. Hoo-wee! Oh, that was close. So we're getting a real good look at downtown Sudbury. Such a beautiful view over here. Being this low, I mean, you know, there's only so much they can do with certain textures, and you know that's fairly legit. There's, you know, a limit to the resolution of the satellite imagery, so I gotta give them that. But it is kind of cool, the buildings, and again, the buildings are fairly realistic and properly modeled. I'd have to compare sort of like side by side from satellite imagery of what some of these things look like. But this is the so this is the downtown mall. Now, downtown Sudbury, which is over here, is pretty dead. Now, that's not so unusual for towns and cities all over the place in the world, but I feel like it happened faster earlier, like a couple of decades back, basically, where downtown kind of died. And part of the reason is, and I really blame this a lot, and this is true throughout most of the NAS, most of the North America, but especially Canada, especially Northern Ontario and places like this. All we have is space. We have unlimited amounts of space. By the way, this is Lake Ramsey. I think Sudbury has 100 lakes within its borders, and the population here is only 150,000 in the greater region of Sudbury. But one of the things, we have unlimited amounts of space, basically. So everything is built kind of spread out, which means you need a vehicle. But everyone has a vehicle, so cities are designed for the fact that everyone has vehicles. And because they're designed that way, look at the gorgeous sunlight over here. Because they're designed that way, I'm going to take a screenshot, everyone has a vehicle, because everyone needs a vehicle, and it's this vicious cycle that just repeats over and over and over and again. And the downtown is dying. Now, I know, like, I've spent a bunch of time in Scotland, in the Ook, and they have problems there with the high streets, you know, dying off, mostly because of, like, internet shopping and big box stores. So it's a similar problem, but I felt like it happened faster and sooner over here. So there's a big push to sort of revitalize the downtown here. You know, lots of, like, artsy-fartsy, sort of hipster kind of places. And it is working, but it is really an uphill struggle. If you do come to Sudbury, and I'm not encouraging you to do that. Manitoulin, yeah, where we started this flight, gorgeous, beautiful, easy to get to, whether you're in the Northern United States or, you know, anywhere in sort of Ontario or those environs in Canada. You can get to Manitoulin. Would definitely recommend. Oh, I know this soccer field over here and everything. This is great in the winter. They because there's a running path around here, like a track for like running meets and things like that. They go and freeze this all over. They go and get water and everything, and they turn this into a wonderful oval like skating rink. It's just really lovely. Right, I was saying come downtown, it's not great, but don't come to Sudbury, it's not great, but there's some pretty decent stuff. Over here, there's a little nice little artisanal sort of cheese shop. It's called La Fromagerie, but it's also sort of like what do I call it? Like a gastropub kind of thing. Lots of live music, good little apps, and like tapas type stuff. And yeah, if you go during the day, like that's your cheesemonger of choice. Really, 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 really good stuff. What else could we talk about over here? This is a high school. I believe this is Collège Notre Dame. The fact that it has college in the name, don't let it confuse you. I think that's what that is. I'm a little turned around over here, but I'm pretty sure it is not a college. It is a high school. This road over here is... Let me pull up a little bit so we can talk about this a bit more. So this road that takes this big swoopy path over here, for whatever reason, is called Paris Street. And then it gets to this street over here, which is Elm Street, right downtown. Oh my god. Okay, hold on. Hear the plane. Hear the plane. Try not to kill the engine again. I still don't know what happened last time. It's possible, depending on how... Because the fuel is gravity-fed. I'm wondering if some of my maneuvers might have screwed up the gravity feed of the fuel, and it might have stalled the engine that way. Anyway, and on the other side of this, it turns into Notre Dame. What is it? There's so many cities all over the world. It's not a local problem. It's not a North American problem. It's all over the world. What is it with these streets? God, that looks gorgeous, doesn't it? I'm gonna keep taking screenshots, and the problem is I know I can't post them on Twitter for like ages still, and it's gonna drive me crazy because I just want to spam them. But what is it with streets that change names? Anyway, Paris Street, Notre Dame over here, Notre Dame. So we're gonna follow this because at some point we got to land. So we're gonna work on that. And I'll keep giving you a little tour of my hometown. So yeah, Sudbury proper has about 100,000 people in it. But a while ago, a decade or so ago, maybe a decade and a half, all of the small towns all over Sudbury amalgamated into the greater city of Sudbury. And we're about 150,000 people total. But it's really, really spread out. Like, from here, if you follow this, basically turns into a highway at that point, out over here to the to the valley, to Valcairn and Hanmer and everything like that. I mean, that's got to be a 10-15 minute drive out there, but that's now part of greater city of Sudbury. So you can see, like, it's quite spread out. So right over here, this big building here is the tax center. It's a Revenue Canada building. They process taxes for all over the place. Now, this corner over here, this puts us onto LaSalle. And at some point, I don't know exactly where, but at some point following LaSalle, you leave Sudbury and you enter New Sudbury, which used to be two separate townships. This, by the way, is a huge graveyard and cemetery. Used to be separate towns, but now it did amalgamate. So this is New Sudbury over here. Basically, there's a big square that gets made with Paris, LaSalle, Beardown, and the Kingsway over here. And there's a little bit of greenery in the middle, and there's some nice nature walks over here. Over here, let's see, we've got grocery stores. Okay, I've got a story about this building right over here. This building over here is Bonnick Tower. It's an apartment building, Bonnick. And they've got on the side of the building, in real life, in big letters, Bonnick, B-O-N-I-C. Except every time I see it, I don't know if there's like a little dyslexia or something, I see Boink. Boink Towers. And I'm like, oh, that's where people go to Boink. Listen, I'm 8 years old. I'll always be 8 years old. Shut up. This is the New Sudbury Center. I don't know if that's what it's still called yet. This is the big mall over here. The big mall. And over here we got a grocery store, another Canadian Tire, which is a hardware store. Canadian Tire, not so much anymore because they've sort of changed some of their mechanics. This is not the airport we're going for. By the way, you can turn this on or off, whether you want these to show up. I think I might turn them off long term, but it's actually quite handy to have that. And you can turn a lot more of these on. If we pop into the... That's not where I want to go. Escape. Is it under assistance? Navigation aids. And so what we have here, airport markers is what we have on. But you can see there's a bunch of other markers and things we can turn on, which is really nifty. I like that a lot. We're coming to the end of LaSalle. Well, it sort of continues this way, but we're meeting Beardown. We want to take a left over here, get to the airport. And I can't believe, again, I know I keep saying this, it is so bizarre to me to just be able to navigate actual visual flight and be able to say, yep, I know that building. Yep, I got to make a left turn here. Yeah, I've driven down this road plenty of times before. It blows me my mind. So the airport we're going to is over here. And with one of my old day jobs, which I was in technical thing, I was a computer programmer, and a lot of times there'd be people coming from out of town, you know, whether they're a vendor or someone from another work site or something like that, they'd come to visit and it'd be a technical person. So I'd pick them up from the airport. So that we could talk sort of business on the way into town. And it was just the worst drive in. It's just so... It's so shit. It's so ugly to drive in. Even landing in Sudbury. Like, most of the flight, say from Toronto to Sudbury, is gorgeous. It's all over wild landscape like this. It's just lakes and rivers and trees, and it's just beautiful the entire way. And you start to arrive to Sudbury, and you get, like, quarries and mining sites and tailing ponds and rusty-colored lakes because of you know, it's these tailing ponds or whatever that they're used as a part of the processing to clean some of the things. Like, you know, it's intentional. It's not just dumping water, you know, out in an uncontrolled way into the environment. But good God, is it ever miserable? And it is a damn shame. It's damn. You know, I think it's very typical for people to kind of poop over their hometowns. I don't really mean to be one of those people. I'm taking more screenshots, by the way. I don't know how that's going to show up on the recording, but I can't help it. It's like when I travel. It's just nonstop taking pictures of everything. It takes when my wife and I, God forbid, a kiss for luck be with us as well, my mother-in-law, because it just, however long it thinks you think it takes you to get somewhere, multiply it by 10, because we're going to be taking all the damn pictures along the way. Hey, there's the airport I'm going to. Excellent. So, and this is my flight simulator stuff too. For those of you guys who do follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/Quill18. When I am in a flight simulator mood, when I'm playing a lot of X-Plane 11 or now FS 2020, my feed just fills up with photos like this. So deal with it. I don't know, man. Yeah, so I don't want to be one of those people that just craps in your hometown, because there's some cool stuff here. But even with that, it's not going to be high on the recommendation list. So, we're following out here. There's some more towns out here. We've got Falconbridge. I think Falconbridge proper, is it? Oh, right here. Yeah. So this little intersection, if we turn left to go to the valley, you know what I was talking about, Balcarron and Hamner? There's another way to get there. Capriol as well in the distance. But I think if you follow this way, if you don't turn, if you go straight, I think this is the town of Falconbridge. And lots of mining, lots of mines out over here. That's still what a lot of these empty, barren areas are. There's also a few quarries as well. Oh, anyway, there's the airport. Pretty easy to see on a clear day like this, which is kind of nice. Now, again, I may have had a slight beverage with dinner. Let's see if we can land at all. Ooh, I was going to hit the hotkey for ATC, which is default to scroll lock. I got to rebind that because, no, I need to tune to Sudbury. I need to rebind that because scroll lock is my start, stop, record thing. I would like to land, please.
Sudbury Tower, Q18, Quebec 001 is 4 miles southwest with Sierra to land. Q18, Quebec 001, Sudbury Tower, enter left downwind runway 30, altimeter 29.9, 2 wind 281 at 7.
Oh, hold on, I'm just trying to, no, acknowledge.
Make left traffic runway 30, Q18,
All right, I
Quebec
just want this,
00.
there we go. Runway 30, excellent. Wonderful. Let's pop out back over here because it's awfully pretty, and let's figure out where the heck we are. So runway 30 is what we want to land on, and you'll see. Well, I'll just go ahead and align myself to 30. Right, that would be way over here. So it's this runway, I think, that's sort of going left to right on our screen over here. So I'm actually entering the traffic the wrong way. It said left, right? So this is left turn. Yeah, left. I think is the traffic pattern. So I want to turn right to go on sort of the base and line up and come back around there. Okay, I think we're going to be fine. By the way, this is one of those areas where I just know that much of what I'm doing to do it proper and right and everything. But I think we're going to be okay. Now, I'm trying to remember. I think the altitude of this airport is around 500. Also, what's the altimeter? 299. Oh, because we're not on real weather, so yeah. And we're cleared to land. Okay, and the wind is good and reasonable. Go 120, that'll be the opposite of 300, so we should be flying parallel but away from the runway. Excellent. Let me go ahead and, oh, I'm sorry. Yes, I acknowledge landing clearance.
Cleared to land runway 30, Q18, Quebec 001.
Alright, so we're going to want to start descending. It's going to be okay. So I've just throttled back. You can see my throttle over here. Maybe we can do it from inside as well. I gotta say, the outside view is just gorgeous. Look at the reflections in the glass, though. Look at the reflections. You can even see, like, the prop sort of in there. The shadows. All these cockpits, apparently they're accurate within 0.5 millimeters, which is crazy nuts. Each one of the buttons and everything like that, they've recorded the audio from them, so they all should sound right. And actually, what's quite cool, and I don't know if I've seen this before, all these buttons actually, like, they animate when you push them. And I don't know if other flight simulators had that, especially on their vanilla planes. I'm not quite sure. All right, we are descending, not maybe as quick as I would like. I'm going to throttle down a wee bit more, and just down a little. airspeed relatively constant. And that means descending. Okay. I think we're probably fine to go ahead and make the turn. I'm just, you know, seeing my plans kind of thing here, which is normally the way I fly anyway, so let's not pretend that I do this better or more accurately normally. Okay, I'm gonna throttle up. I think that's gonna be okay. Just to drop the dive a little. So we're coming on to the alignment. The thing is, we're landing with the sun in front of our eyes, which is gonna make this a little bit more difficult. God, that is so gorgeous. Like, this is better than how I had my X-Plane looking when I had, like, Orbex and Ortho XP stuff and everything. You know, it's a really good thing there's a marker there, because I can't see a damn thing with the sun here. Wow. That sunshine. I'm picking the wrong time to land. I should do is just, like, circle around for, like, 10-15 minutes until the sun sets, and then go ahead and at least there'll be lighting. Speaking of lighting. So, alright. We are going to lower our flaps by 1, and we're going to put our landing lights on. Good stuff there. Oh my god, I can't see. The airport here does have ILS. I could land on runway 22 with ILS. I don't know... Yeah. We've got the glide scope and everything. We could totally do it. Oh my god, I can't see it. Oh, there it is. Now I can see it. Now, I'm a little close, but I think we're going to be okay. Speed's good. I'm going to go ahead and lower another tick of flaps. So, we're a little far to the left of the runway. There you go. We'll just make out these markings now, finally. But I think we're a little close and a little high. But we're going to fake it. Alright, I've cut all my throttle completely. Our speed's still good. We're very floaty here. We've got full flaps. So that part's okay. Alright, yeah, we're way too high. Oh my god. Don't try this at home, kids. Look out the window and tell me that's not the most gorgeous thing ever, though. Bad flying be damned. This is pretty. Okay, so we've got our lights over there. All 4 lights are white. There are 4 lights, and they're all white, which means we're too high. We're not all white because they're all white. We're not all right. We're kind of wrong. Anyway. I suspect, though, one of these is... the pair is going to turn red in a sec here. I think we're not too far off now. Alright, give it a little more throttle. Right, we want to land from outside the plane? Maybe we land from outside the plane. Should look pretty. Yeah. So they're all still all white, but I don't think I'm much too high. I have to say, I actually don't have a really good sense of things from outside the plane here. When we're inside the plane, I've usually got a pretty good sense of what things should look like. Still a little high, but that's going to be okay. It's not like we need to use a lot of the runway. So if we end up touching down a little further in, that's hardly the end of the world. Okay. Although this runway altitude is a lot higher than I thought. There. I mean, finally we've got 2 reds, but it's sort of moot. Alright. I think I can feel this completely. Yeah, a little bit of stall. That's okay. There it is. Oh, that was... I think that was actually fairly nice. I like how it doesn't tell you a direction. Oh, never mind. Hey, taxi lines. We're going to exit the runway by going onto another runway. Temporarily. Boop, 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 boop. So all the... oh, I should really be bringing my flaps up. I mean, there's so many things I should be doing. I should be...
Contact ground on 121.8. 121.8 for Q18 Quebec 001.
Oh, this doesn't have checklist for landing. All right. The other planes do.
Sudbury ground Q18 Quebec 001. Request taxi to parking. Q18 Quebec 001 taxi to general aviation parking via taxiway cross runway 4 Alpha. Taxiing to general aviation parking via taxiway cross runway 4 Alpha Q18 Quebec 001.
Sounds good to me. I'm just going to follow the blue lines. Actually, yeah, it even shows your parking. I think that's really great, because that's actually one of the hardest things for me. Not so much at this airport, but at many airports, trying to navigate such a pain, because you're like trying to zoom in and squint, like, okay, taxiway Alpha, looking for little A on a tiny little sign. I mean, in reality, first of all, you should, you know, familiarize yourself with the airport. You should get the airport charts, you know, have your taxiway diagrams up and ready. It would be nice. I don't have foot pedals. It would be nice, especially for these situations, to be able to, like, I have the twisty joystick. I'm using a Logitech 3D Extreme Pro, which is, it's actually the second one of these that I've owned. I like the first one so much that after I spilled a bunch of soda on it and all the buttons got sticky, I bought another one. They're pretty cheap. They're about 50 bucks. Cheap means something very different in the flight simulator world. Like, I'm sure there's going to be some people that are like, oh my god, the premium edition of this game is like, I don't know, 125 bucks, 150 bucks. It's some amount of bucks. Also, this taxiing instruction is going to have me go directly through other aircrafts. So I'm going to just skirt around this a little bit. Flight simulator world is like, yeah, I've paid like $100 for, like, you know, one payware plane. And other people will be like, that's nothing. I've paid way more than that. It's like $100 for the base plane, $50 for, like, the premium up. Oops. Yeah. Totally got there. Where's reverse? I'm going to parking brake on this plane. Wasn't it right down here somewhere? Oh, parking brake. There you go. Pull on. Never mind. We're good there. And I can pull out the mixture. Oh, I have... Oh, there you go. As I say, when you kill the engine, it actually completes the flight. It caught me a little off guard, even though I knew it was there. And adds it to your logbook, which I think is just lovely. You can see I'm up to about 8 hours total flying time in here. I think this is total day and night. Total time over here. I don't think it's just for this aircraft. I think I've put about 8 hours into this. Some of it was paused and poking around and trying different things rather than for seriously flights, but there you go. I do like that. Again, of course, just continue a flight where you are. You can restart the same flight. You can pop back to the main menu. May as well just go back to the main menu over here. I don't remember what I was saying, but yeah, when you kill the engine, that counts it as a completed flight. You may need to be in a proper parking spot. I think you have to be in a proper parking spot. You kill the engine, and then it properly logs it over there. But you can go ahead and you can check your logbook over here. You'll see a bunch of little dummy flights and tests and things like that in different places, a few different aircraft. I would say this icon is really fun to play with. You can see a lot of these are just, you know, just short, just loading it up and seeing what it looks like. Some of this thing. Oh, this is cool. We'll do a proper video on this in a bit, but I want to show you. The game is shipping with, first of all, tutorial stuff, but also these activities here, which are really neat. So landing challenges in certain areas, famous, epic, strong wind landings. Go like epic and take a look. Courchevel, which actually is St. Bart's. Is this the one where the planes land basically just over the beach? There's like people on the beach and they look up and they can all practically touch a plane. I think that's what this is over here, isn't it? So they've got these like cool flight ideas for you in here, and then they've got as well, they're gonna have these like live events, these custom missions that you get scored with as well over here. So this is to land at Courchevel. This is in, I believe it's in the French Alps. So it sets you up. It's a specific plane. Starts you off. I mean, it starts you off. You're like a minute and a half from landing, basically, and your goal is to land. This landing strip is like amazing. There's so many pictures of it online. It's short strip. It's angled. It's on the side of a mountain, and it's really steep. Like bottom to the top. I don't know how much it's got to be like. It's got to be at least like 50 feet or something different. So you're really landing on a slope. Yeah, there's no go around procedure either. Like, don't F this up. So this test it gives you credits based on how gentle your landing was, how precise it was, like how right on the mark you hit it, which is really great, and it sets all the weather and everything for you. Oh, I want to talk about load times a little bit. I did some tests between this and X-Plane 11 to compare load times, and the load times at the same airport were slightly longer here. So my test of Prestwick in Scotland in X-Plane loaded in 48 seconds, and it took 1 minute and 4 seconds in Flight Simulator 2020, so a little bit longer, but for the amount of extra scenery and the much higher, this was vanilla by the way, so much higher resolution textures and everything here, I felt like that was pretty legitimate. I felt like the load times were much less than I expected, given the content that was loading in. This, by the way, it's just like, this is one of those things that just heart-achingly gorgeous. Not throttle up. Where we're landing is just over here. We'll just peek through these clouds. Oh, you can just see a little bit of the sun just on the other side of the mountain, just over there. And you can see the lighting in the sky. This will happen as well. I talked about in one of the presentations I watched. Let's say you're trying to like land in, say, Las Vegas at night. It's in the middle of the desert. So even if you're far away, you're going to see the lights in the distance and know that Las Vegas is there. Even if it's like somehow there's a mountain between you and it, you'll see the haze of lights in the sky. There's the airstrip we're trying to land in. And yeah, this airplane is great. I mean, it's pretty bare bones, but it is really, 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 really lovely. I don't think I'll do the landing here. I think I'm just going to derp around and sort of show this. I'll do a flyover of the airfield actually to show it off, so you can actually see it a little bit better than I'm just doing. But look how beautiful this is. Now, I think this is one of the areas that did actually get some handcrafted love here. And honestly, how could you not? Because first of all, it's such an iconic airfield, you'd want to make it proper, and the terrain is so whacked out that I can't imagine how it would possibly work without it. But I like this. I think these are this is a ski lift over here. Now we're here in the summer, not much in the way of snow, although there's a little bit of stuff over the top of these little mountains. Actually, a little bit here too, because it's probably in a shaded area. Sun's falling in the west. I don't know. Maybe it's just bare stone. Maybe that's all. But look at this airfield. Look at this strip. Look how short this is. Although you are landing, you know, and going uphill, so that's going to slow you down pretty quick. I like this little tunnel going under here too. Like, my God. And yeah, so you get points for landing there. That blue marker is the indicator for this particular objective. I may be having a little difficulty over here. Nope, we're good. Okay. I didn't want to pull up too sharply. Even here we're losing speed kind of dramatically. I'm not sure I can get over the top of the hill here with what I'm doing, but I guess I could just turn around and probably go the other way because I might run into terrain. Oh, I'm just at the edge of stalling. Can I do it? Oh my lord! Nose down, nose down, nose down, nose down, nose down, nose down. Build some speed. Oh, don't hit the trees. Hey guys. So there is crashing in the game. I totally. This was intentional to show you guys crashing. They do just go to a black screen. They don't have the planes disintegrate or anything like that. It does just go to a black screen. This is also what happens if you do overstress your aircraft. In the test flight I was showing you, I did have the overstressing turned off. Although I believe it is enabled for these little trials here. For these tests which are scored, I think they set everything. You can't change the weather, you can't turn off, you know, collision damage or anything like that. That way you get scored kind of legitimately. But yeah, we may have gone slightly splat over there, but I don't know. If you're anything like me, and maybe it's different watching it on video, I don't know. I'm hoping it translates. I cannot believe how gorgeous and detailed this is. I thought flight simulators were already like pushing the edge of what was possible, and then Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 just goes here and just blows away every single assumption and expectation that I had. Everything looks 10 times better than anything I've seen before. The world is 10 times more detailed. The game runs smooth. I like that there's integrated activities and tracking of things. There's going to be an integrated marketplace over here, which I also like, because of course you can still go to, you know, any website to buy third-party payware for, you know, a particular aircraft that's, you know, you really want to have access to or whatever. Sure, that's still going to be a thing, but they're also going to have it integrated into the software itself, which, as someone who, you know, enjoys flight simulators, but is still like, you know, semi-casual at it, maintaining, you know, patching, updating these different products can sometimes be a pain in the ass. So I'm really looking forward to some integrated marketplace stuff, and I'm hoping it turns out to be a good way to purchase third-party content. And that's the thing with these simulator games. There's always going to be a market for third-party stuff because, I mean, there are so many aircrafts out there, and, you know, it takes so long to develop each one that you can only have so many in the base product itself. And then you let third-party people, you know, make. I'm going to look for a new Dash 8, for example, because that's something that I'm going to be really interested in flying. And so I'm going to hope that someone goes ahead and develops something like that. And those things tend to be stupid high quality. Although, in a future video, I'll load up probably the Boeing. It's what, 747 that's in here, right? Airliners. Yeah, 747 Intercontinental. We'll load this bad boy up, and it's actually it's probably, I haven't played everything, but based on my experience, this is by far the most detailed, like, vanilla airliner. The flight management system seems solid. A lot of the systems are simulated. To me, it's really impressive, the vanilla version of the 747. I think the Airbus is probably good too. I actually have never really flown an Airbus in any of the sims before. I've only ever done the Boeings, although I don't think the 747 is one that I did specifically. No, in fact, I know I didn't, because when I first got in here, I'm like, wait, I have 4 engines to start up? There's 4 of them? Right, of course there's 4 of them. But I think that was my first time doing that. Also, want to give a big shout out to, I mentioned it in the log, this Icon A5 here. This is an amphibious plane. You might be able to tell it looks, you know, kind of distinctive. When the gears are in, you can just land on the water, and holy cow, is that ever fun to do. Really fun. Good for bush flying stuff. Although, you can also do bush flying, and actually that's one of the things I meant to showcase in the activities over here, these bush trips. So for example, this Breckenridge to Mariposa Yosemite in Nevada, there's actually a series of flights over here. 25 flights, each somewhere between 10-ish, oh, it's 6-minute flight over here, and 41 minutes, the longest one. The first one is the longest. A series of flights to complete. It tracks the whole thing. I mean, you can skip the different areas as well, and really lovely. And what's cool, once you get into it, you actually get description. Even each one of these, this leg here, leg 1, is actually split into a dozen or so sub-steps, and you actually get, I was going to say flavor text, but description for each one of those. Oh, you're going to fly until you see a certain river, and then you're going to go ahead and turn right, and you're going to follow that river through this ravine, and it's all described that way as like proper just sort of VFR flying. Just this little Savage Cub over here, very simple little aircraft. I've done a little bit of this. I did most of this first leg as a bit of a test. Really impressive, and I think that might make for a really cool video later on. Folks, thanks a lot for watching. Again, if you are new to the channel, I expect there's going to be a lot of new people for this. Do make sure to hit subscribe so that you gain, you don't miss any videos later on. I do a lot of simulation games on the channel, as well as lots of strategy stuff, because frankly, it always seems like there's a bit of crossover between those two audiences. Something about something highly detailed and requiring a good amount of thought and learning. I think that's the crossover between simulation and strategy games, but definitely works for me anyway. Thanks a lot for watching, folks. I'm going to see you guys next time. Bye-bye.